Hello, all you pro wrestling fans. Welcome back to Squared Circle Speak, the YouTube channel and podcast dedicated to any and everything professional wrestling. I am Ryan. With me, as always, is my brother, my co host, Nathan. And we have got a fantastic show for you all today. We're going to be talking our usual WWE and AEW, but also we've got a top 10 list tonight. We have got uh another wrestler spotlight, and we're gonna do something a little different later on in the show. So hopefully you enjoy it. And let's get into this, Nathan. Let's go with our typical first segment of the day, WWE.
Yeah, Ryan. So let's talk about Raw first. We got new belts.
We do have new belts. We had new tag team championships on both Raw and SmackDown. I'm not gonna lie, uh, the SmackDown belts are better.
Yeah, the Raw belts.
I
I'm
like
not
the
sure
Raw
why
belts, but
why'd they go with the circle design.
yeah, that one confuses me. I don't know. It looks too similar to like the 24/7 championship. Uh,
Yeah,
but we have new champions. I'm glad finally we mentioned it like a week ago or 2 weeks ago on the show that we needed new tag team championships. So
right.
we did. So that's one of the big things. The other big thing, Rhea Ripley had to uh it sucks too, dude. It sucks. But Rhea Ripley had to give up the women's world championship um due to an injury. I
Right.
apparently it came from Liv Morgan's segment last week where she threw a chair at her. It was not the chair that did it. Apparently, it was when she fell against the wall. She hurt her arm. Um,
That's crazy.
it's just a freak accident. Apparently, there's no like heat on Liv. There's nothing,
I ain't gonna
bad.
lie though. I ain't gonna lie. This isn't bad.
No,
You
I
know why this
actually
isn't
think
bad?
it's for the best. Actually,
Yeah, because she's been champion forever. This gives her a rest. Nobody beat her.
yeah,
And she's just gonna come back bigger than ever. Like when she comes back, the crowd's just gonna,
yeah. It
go
actually
crazy.
makes her look more like a
So
badass because she never actually
And
lost
not
the
only that,
championship.
and not only that, they haven't built anybody up to beat her.
Yeah,
So no, this is good. I think it's an okay thing. I know it sucks when people get hurt, but it gives her time to take in everything that she has done in this past year.
yeah,
Because she's been basically the face of Monday Night Raw for a year.
yep.
Her and Cody Rhodes. I mean, so
Yeah, I think this was actually a blessing in disguise. It gives, I'm assuming maybe Liv will win it, and then Liv can hold it, and then when Rhea comes back, it'll be a massive match between Liv and Rhea. Revenge for Rhea, and Liv's been built up as champion. So I think this is a blessing in disguise. It makes Rhea look like a badass because no one actually beat her for the title, and so she didn't lose. So she's still, and she can come back and just be the dominant person she is. So I think this worked out. Even though it sucks for Rhea to have to give up the title, I think this actually worked out in the long run. It'll be a better situation. Uh,
right.
Also, Sheamus came back.
Oh boy.
What'd you think?
So dude, I got nothing against somebody that's so, especially Sheamus, because so he's getting a lot of hate online because he came back and he's not in as good a shape as he was when he left. The dude has spinal stenosis.
Yeah,
Okay, he before he wrestled. I mean, honestly, we don't know why he even came back because when his last run, his last like 2 year run that he had to stretch for like 30 minutes before ever going out there to the ring, stretch his neck just so he could wrestle. And and the dude can't work out the way he wants to anymore. So that's why he looks the way he looks when he came back to on this episode of Raw. So all the hate he's getting for being out of shape and stuff, it's like, dude, the guy can't do it. Like he physically can't. And
yeah.
I don't know if he just came back to win the IC belt because it's the only belt he's never won. If he wins that belt, then he, can retire and have held everything in the main roster. I don't know if that's what it is, or I don't know why he came back, honestly, but hopefully he stays safe. Like he was a little slower in the ring, uh, and I just don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, look, I am no one to talk about anyone's physical appearance. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's better now. Maybe he been since he was off for so long. Maybe he feels better. But and you know I think it was also the new gear didn't help him. He wore like Venom, like UFC style pants and shorts, and it just looked weird. Uh,
Yeah,
but I know if Sheamus is back, I was always a big fan of him. But yeah, I don't know where this is going to go and how much longer he's got in it. So I guess we should just enjoy it while we can. He looked good. I mean, he didn't, he was there with Ivar, so I don't know, but he didn't look terrible. He kind of
yeah.
moved still pretty good. So, um, we had a number one contenders triple threat match for the tag team titles, which was won by DIY. So we're going to be seeing DIY versus the Awesome Truth at some point. This is a pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's kind of strange. Do you think DIY go heel, or do you think it's just going to be face and face?
I think it'll be face versus face. I do think after this segment and then after what happened in the main event, I think we're gonna get uh, a new group of the Creed brothers with uh, uh, Gable. I think he's going to turn his back on Alpha Academy and he's going to bring in the Creeds and they're going to be like a team angle sort of situation. Just my opinion.
I like it.
Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell beat Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree. The only reason this is relevant is Indy kind of now is joining Candice as being a heel, kind of.
Yeah,
For a while, she didn't want to do it, and then she took advantage of, um, like LeRae having the referee distracted, and then Hartwell just like hit Maxine right in the face with a big boot, and then threw LeRae on top. Uh, so I guess they're both heels now. I don't know.
not
Uh,
the way I thought that was going to go.
no.
Honestly, until Natalia went down to got down to NXT for whatever reason, I thought I thought Natalia uh and LeRae were going to be a team because they were both, doing the same thing. They were like, "You guys got to quit being so nice." And
Yeah.
so I thought maybe those two were going to turn their backs on their respective partners, and then maybe you'd have Indy Hartwell and uh oh, what's her name? The
Dupree?
chick from Wales. No, the chick from Wales.
Oh, Tegan?
Yeah, you'd have Tegan Knox and Indy Hartwell team up because they'd lose their
Yeah.
teammates
I
to
mean,
each other. So
and they got nothing
I feel
else.
like that would have been a better story,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. I'm not the booker, even though, they could hire me if they wanted to.
Andrade beat Dominic. Uh, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven beat Katana and Caden. And then the only other thing of note here, Jason Finn Balor wrestled, but Jason won, obviously. So then we had Sami Zayn and Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship.
That
Uh,
was a great match.
this match was
The
fucking phenomenal.
crowd was into like, yeah, this crowd was hot for
The
this match.
the best thing was the beginning of this was after the Jey Uso segment. He walked this is all one shot. He walked out of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
arena through the crowd, runs into Sami Zayn. They talk, and then Sami Zayn walks back into the crowd down to his entrance. It was all one long shot. And this new cinematic stuff that they're doing in WWE is phenomenal. That segment there was great, and then this match was awesome. Back and forth, just a great match. Zayn ends up getting the win, but that's not the end of the story because after the end, Zayn is hugging his wife and his kids at ringside, and then Gable just fucking grabs him and hits a German suplex on the floor. Such a because you saw like Zayn reaching for his wife and her holding on and then getting pulled away. It was such a like the craziest like heel move ever for Gable to grab him while he's in an embrace with his wife. And like it's just I loved it. I thought this was great. Gable needs a shot in the arm. And so for him to be heel, I think it's gonna be great. And then he's proceeded to just beat the shit out of Zayn.
I think, the long title reigns, I think we're finally going to start getting some shorter reigns here, and I think Gable's going to beat him for this belt.
I think so
I
too.
think Sami Zayn got that title. He's already held it once, but he's got this title. He had his moment in Montreal,
Yep.
and I think at the next pay-per-view, I think Sami Zayn's going to lose
I
that
think
belt to
I
Chad
think
Gable.
that's when the Creed brothers help him too. I think the Creed
Yeah, that
brothers,
could be.
that's when they get together, they come out, help Gable win, they become a new faction.
And then they can stop doing the Brutus Ball because it's a face move and he can quit hurting people.
Yep. See, hey, it all works out.
Yep.
All right.
Anything cool happen on NXT, Ryan?
We had a steel cage match between Trick
Not
and
a great one.
Mello. It was
Not
not
a great one.
good. It was rushed. It felt really rushed. Uh it felt like it was like they didn't have enough time, so they had to kind of
Yeah.
throw it together real quick.
Obviously, obviously, Trick needs to stay in NXT for a while.
Yeah, he's
I know
not.
he's hot. I know, like the crowd chances his name and stuff, but man, he's very green. He needs to stay down there for a little while.
Yeah, he's not ready yet. I think Carmelo will get called up. This was probably his goodbye.
You say
Um,
called up, but we got this draft coming.
well,
NXT
draft.
is going to be
Yeah,
heavily involved.
yeah, not
I
totally
feel
called
like,
up. He's gonna get drafted to a new show. Is what I
yeah,
should say.
because I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that are going to NXT.
Oh, for sure. Some of the guys who aren't being used and women that aren't really being used as much on the main roster will go down. Or I don't even know if
Question
it's
is,
going.
if this starts happening, how does that affect the people that are, NXT is supposed to be,
Yeah,
it's supposed to be developmental for a lot of these guys. How does that affect them? Because if you got people that are established coming over, not all of them are going to be putting over all the young guys. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
yeah. I don't know where that's gonna go. I mean, obviously with NXT moving to CW, next year, uh, they're probably going to want it to be more of a bigger thing than it is. It's going to be
Yeah.
on actual TV, so the
Hey,
chance. So
so next week for one of our segments on this podcast, we're going to do a draft.
okay, draft prediction.
Yep, draft predictions.
Oh Jesus! All right, yeah, that's hey, there you go. Next week for NXT is Spring Breaking Night One. The big matches, it'll be Roxanne Perez, Lyra Valkyria, and Tatum Paxley in a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. Blair Davenport and Sol Ruka in a beach brawl. And then Ilya and Trick for the NXT Championship. If Trick loses, he leaves NXT. So I don't know. Maybe he is going to get called up. Maybe he
I
is.
thought he was going to leave NXT if he lost the cage match.
No, that wasn't. No, that was not that match.
No.
The match that if he leaves is against Ilya. If he loses to Ilya, then he leaves NXT.
No, I think they were going to lose because
So
they're
now,
going to go to
so do you?
draft.
So do you think that he's going to Trick's going to win because Ilya's probably going to get drafted?
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah,
Oh,
Ilya's going to another show. So
ah, Jesus, I can't. Well, I guess he's going to get his shot to prove himself. He's going to be NXT champion.
yeah, but he might be facing some main roster or like if this really does happen, we're going to have to quit calling it main roster. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
we're just going to have to keep calling NXT and Raw and SmackDown because it's becoming a point where you've got. I mean, you had uh the authors of Pain wrestle and Natalia wrestle were on this show, so
Yeah, but they're not really a step. You know what I mean? Like Natalia's on her way out.
yeah,
I hope. And and AOP, they just came back. Ain't like they're
yeah,
so. But it's going to be interesting in this draft. If we see like big name people go to NXT, okay, then we can stop calling it main roster because if we got like people like Finn Balor or somebody gets sent to NXT, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to be interesting, this draft. We'll see how they do it now with Triple H and Shawn Michaels
Did they
hand in hand
did
working
they
together.
did they mention anything about the Women's North American Championship in the show?
Not really. Not that I remember. I mean, they probably mentioned it in
Are they
passing, but they
are they
never
having a
mentioned.
tournament? Or
I don't know. They never really. They haven't said yet. I would assume it's going to be either a
oh,
tournament or a battle royal or something.
hmm.
But they never really mentioned it. So, but you got a lot of women there. So I'm hoping they'd do something.
Yep.
But they never really mentioned it now. So,
Interesting.
but
Do you think they'll bring back the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, or do you think those are just gone forever?
they're probably gone. I think that's probably why they did the North American Championship to kind of make up for it, I guess.
Hmm. All right, let's go to SmackDown
Well,
here, Ryan.
before we get to SmackDown, we did have some
Oh,
releases that happened on
oh,
Friday
okay,
night.
okay.
Nothing big though. I mean, yeah, it sucks for these guys, but we're not, we got all of Indus Sheer, Veer Sangha and Jinder Mahal were all released, and Xia Li and Zion Quinn. Uh,
Xia Li upsets me a little bit.
yeah, I was a big fan of Xia Li, and I thought she had a good future, but I think it more had to do with she's been there for as long as she has and just hasn't improved.
Yeah, but
So
she had that match with Becky Lynch, and it was pretty good.
she did, and that's the thing. Like when she was first on SmackDown, she had a good run there where she had like 3 matches on SmackDown, and they were all really good. And then they just
I
stopped
don't
using her.
know. Yeah, they said it wasn't just because they didn't improve it. They also said that they had no. They used the good
Yeah,
old fashioned. We
yeah,
didn't have anything for them, which
yeah,
I hate that because you can make anything for somebody.
yeah,
And Xia Li upsets me more because you had a story built in where she's the only Chinese wrestler,
yeah,
like in a Chinese women's wrestler on the roster.
yeah.
I mean, if you truly are, I mean, I know we're having problems with China. Don't want to get political in the show, but but if you want to go full on international, you know, and have somebody represent everybody, you know,
Yeah.
like that just blows my mind, and I don't understand that one. Indus Sheer, I never really liked Veer that much. I didn't think because he wrestled like he was bigger than what he was,
Yeah.
which never made sense to me.
Yeah.
But Sangha, like he was not great in the ring, but dude, when he was in NXT and he was doing that chill Sangha thing
Yeah.
where he like had the ladies with him and stuff, and he was,
Yeah.
there was something there, and there was something there, and to say that you have nothing for these guys, I don't agree with. And Zion Quinn never got any
He never got an
opportunity.
opportunity. Yeah, he never got an
Yeah,
opportunity to do anything.
he has a look. He had a
Yeah.
unique look. I mean, I guess if you didn't get better in the ring, I guess that's one thing. But he had a unique look, and I don't know. I don't like
Well,
any of these releases.
the thing, the,
Jinder Mahal, like he just had that thing with Seth Rollins, and everybody talking for like 3 weeks.
yeah.
Like obviously, if you give him something, he could run with it.
Yep.
So
But he was in there
I
with The
don't under,
Rock. Like,
yeah, I don't understand. I really don't understand any of these releases, really.
yeah.
And they say they weren't budget cuts. So I'm like, I don't get it.
See, the thing is, it sounds like there's a little miscommunication here or something. I guess it's been proven false, but Jinder Mahal said he quit. And then Veer put out a statement in Indian, and it's translated basically to something about you have to stand up for your country, stand up for your rights, and something like that.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe if they had a conversation and they all three just realized that they weren't going to be used in a way that they thought they should be used.
Maybe they were tired of being, Indian heels
Yeah, maybe they wanted to be.
because maybe they wanted India to look, because it's just same with Xia Li.
Yeah, she was this
They're
typical Chinese woman with the sword.
Yeah,
The
and maybe all three of them were like all they were, or maybe all four of them
yeah,
were like maybe we need to move into the 21st century here,
yeah,
and fucking and maybe that's what it was.
yeah. So
I mean,
I'm sure it's something because it just seems it came out of nowhere. Zion
but
Quinn, I don't know. Dude never got a
but
shot.
if that
So
is but if that is the case, this is the first, like, if that comes out that that is the case, this is the first black eye for the Triple H era,
yeah,
because he's been seen as this guy that hugs everybody and it's a family centric backstage, and for these guys, like, we're just speculating right now, but for these guys, if that is true, that is a kind of a black eye there.
yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's like I said, I think I'm more upset about Zaya than the rest of them because I thought she had a pretty bright future, and I actually
Yeah,
liked her in the ring. I thought she was good.
yeah, personally, I am too, but I'm just saying these other guys, all five of them,
Yeah,
never really got a shot.
yeah, they never got their moment. Like Zion Quinn had a few moments in the COVID era at NXT, where he had showed some personality, and he showed that he could.
Right.
So, and then they made him a free agent, so which I thought he was going to get to do more, and then he never. Same with Odyssey Jones, but they just don't do anything.
Yeah, Odyssey Jones is. I don't know why he didn't get released.
And so it's weird to me that he never got his moment. So maybe, I mean, there's always a chance they come back. But this is Ginger's second time around. So I just like that he'll come back, but we'll see. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
if something more comes out, then we'll talk about it. If not, maybe they were just trying, maybe, and it could just be a situation where they're trying to, end this year, just trying to keep their name relevant for the next 90 days to
that
work,
could
go
be.
somewhere else with a new gimmick that's based on this or something, where they're like, oh,
Yeah, that could be. That could
could
be.
be more of a storyline thing that they're trying to do.
Let's
All
hope.
right,
All right. So,
SmackDown.
anything big happen on SmackDown, Ryan?
Well, we had a new number one contender for the WWE Championship. LA Knight and AJ Styles had a pretty good match with AJ getting the win. So it'll be AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes at Backlash for the
Let
WWE
the let
Championship.
the let the marks let the marks of the world start saying that they're burying LA Knight.
Yeah, here we
Here it
go.
comes.
Yep. But it makes sense. I mean,
Well, it makes sense. AJ Styles, he was in an interview. Or I don't know if it was an interview or if it was one of his video game streams. If he's still doing that, I may have been an interview. Uh, but he basically said his body is telling him to stop.
yeah, he doesn't have much longer.
So I think getting this one last shot at the WWE Championship and having a good match with Cody Rhodes, you know, I don't know how long this story is going to play out, if it's going to be much of a story at all. But if they did, they could play up, both of them were the leaders of the
Yeah.
Bullet Club at one point.
Yep.
And so
You can even
they
have
could play that up.
Anderson and Gallows get involved
Yeah.
if you wanted to
So
go that route.
we'll see, but at least he's getting one last shot at the belt. It'll probably be on pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's at Backlash. It'll be a phenomenal match, no pun intended. I feel
That
like
was that was totally intended.
I
Don't
didn't
lie.
mean to. I really didn't mean to until I said it. Then I realized what I said. It'll be a
But
good.
I
And
think I think he's on his way out, so,
yeah,
or he'll probably move to a training role. So,
yep. Which just sucks because AJ's great, but he's been doing it for so long at such a high
oh, fuck,
level.
man. He's been doing it since '98 is when he
Yeah,
graduated wrestling school.
and
98.
he's one of those guys that when he feels like he's going to start not being himself, he's going to hang it up, and he's probably feeling that now, where he's like, I can't. He's 40, whatever he is. He's in his 40s. Like he can't go forever. I mean,
He's
so
been doing this for 26 years.
yeah. Yeah, he's 46, so he's been doing it since he was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And so obviously it's about time. He's almost 50. I mean,
Yeah.
like
Isn't that nuts? So wait, let's pause for a second here. So isn't that nuts that AJ Styles, okay, is almost the same age as Shawn Michaels was when he was in his last run.
yeah.
and he looks way younger than what Shawn Michaels did.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's crazy because he look at Ric Flair when he was 50,
I know.
and look how old he looked.
Yeah,
I mean, that was only 20 years ago, so that would have been when he came back to WWE.
yeah,
He would have been in his 50s.
and he looked like he was 60 something.
Yeah. And then you look at these guys now, not just AJ Styles, but almost everybody on the roster who's in their late 40s. They look
Yeah,
insane.
it's crazy. Like Randy Orton, yeah.
LA Knight is in his 40s. Like, they don't look like they're, you know, they don't look like it. I don't know what's going on now with these people, but yeah. You look at guys from like the early 80s and 90s who were in their late 40s or even early 40s, and they were like, look like they were about 70.
Yeah, it's
And
nuts.
now these guys look like they're still in their 20s, moving around how they do. It's crazy.
It is.
Um, the other thing that happened, we had the new bloodline, I guess, with Solo and Tonga, right wreaking havoc. They Tonga wrecked into Kevin Owens in the parking lot. And so this new bloodline is completely different than the other bloodline. Looks like Solo is looking to go more of like the mafia style, where he's just going to put hits out on people.
Yeah.
And he's being more physical and more not listening to Paul Heyman, whereas Roman would, consult Heyman and not really try to get
So,
his hands dirty. So
do you think so? Do you think he is the new tribal chief, or
he's
are
acting
they
like it.
still or are they referring to somebody else still? I don't
He's
know.
acting like he's in charge, but we don't know for sure if it is him or if maybe it's someone pulling the strings behind the scene, like The Rock. I don't know, but I'm very
Do you
interested to
think
see.
Jacob Fatu's coming?
Yeah, it would make sense with this whole thing he's doing where he's just putting hits out on people. I mean, you got another big ass motherfucker.
I mean, do you think he's coming, or do you think?
I mean,
I
rumors
mean,
are
why
that
would
he's signed, but I don't know if that could mean he could go to NXT. I don't know.
what if he foils this? What if he's like,
The
I don't
thing,
know.
the thing is with Fatu, Jacob Fatu is Tonga at least was in New Japan for a long time, where people were like,
Yeah,
no one's gonna know who Jacob Fatu is, and to bring him up in this big prominent role seems kind of, I don't know, because not
yeah,
very many people are gonna know who he is. They can call him, it's
right.
Fatu, it's Solo's brother or cousin or whatever.
Yeah, but what's crazy is it's not gonna matter because he looks like a pro wrestler because he
Oh, he's
looks exactly like Umaga.
Yeah, he looks like Umaga, and so it'll work, and everyone will know, like, hey, this is their cousin.
Yeah, when he does a springboard moonsault, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure everybody's gonna be like freaking out.
but yeah, so I honestly want to see it. I hate, I don't want to have all of the every member of that family involved in one thing,
All
but
right.
it would be cool, and it would bring this new bloodline. We could have eventually maybe at Survivor Series we do a 3-on-3 Survivor Series, and it's Solo, Fatu, and uh Tonga versus the Usos and Roman.
Yeah.
And then we have like the new bloodline. It's like kind of like the NWO, but it would be better. Uh, but yeah, I love this new look for Solo and Tonga. I think it's taking it in a new direction. Whereas like
Yeah.
original Bloodline was more like the Yakuza in a way, where they're like kind of doing all the bidding behind the scenes, where Solo is just taking people out in front of people and not giving a shit. It's like, we're
So
gonna take you out. I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna take you out.
yeah. So speaking of a new look, we got new tag team titles on SmackDown also.
So they're very I like them better. They're a throwback to, they kind of mixed in the old 90s WWE Champion Tag Team Championships with the mid 2000s brand split era Tag Team Championships. These will be
Yeah.
called the WWE Tag Team Champions. They look fit. They're phenomenal, dude. I really like these titles way more than I like the world titles.
Yeah. Question. So do you think the WWE championships, the women's and the men's, do you think they just stay the same? Do you think they Cody Rhodes has been teasing all this shit, but do you think they just stay the same?
For
Because
branding,
because the Raw and the women's the world championships look the same. So if you
Yeah.
change Cody's, you'd have to change EO's.
I feel like you have to keep it just for branding reasons. That's the belt they give everybody when like all these sports teams.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah, but all the sports teams have their own belt now.
true, but I don't know. I would like to see it change because I am not a big fan of just the giant WWE. But then yeah, you have to change the women's, and it makes no sense to change the women's.
Yeah.
Like you just be changing it just to change it. I feel like it
Yeah.
needs. It's probably gonna stay. I would like to see it in a how they did with the WWE tag team titles, where it's kind of like a mixture of all eras together, and kind of. But I don't see it happening. I feel like we're gonna keep these WWE titles the way they are for a while, unfortunately.
Yeah. I agree.
The Street Profits won a fatal four way to become the new number one contenders for the tag team championships. Uh, yeah, it was SmackDown was a decent show. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously the big things were the uh Solo running wild and then the tag team
Oh, you
title.
also had a women's title match.
Yeah, Bailey and Naomi had a pretty good match.
Naomi's still slow.
Still slow. She looked good though, comparative to what she did. Anything else happened that I'm missing? I think that was
Uh, yeah, that's pretty
big
much it.
stuff that happened.
Yeah. I like I said, we're still kind of. I mean, there's some good stuff going on, but we also are. You can tell we got a draft coming up,
Yeah, we're kind of
and
just yeah.
so I'm really excited to see what happens with the draft.
Yeah. Carlito wrestled
Do
well.
you think,
So
yeah, we got beat pretty easy. That was
yeah,
bullshit.
kind of sucked.
I don't understand that at all. But so you last little thing here on WWE. Do you think we're gonna get because we got you got that North American Women's Championship down there? Do you think we're gonna get a women's Intercontinental or women's U.S. title? You think it's gonna happen?
I think
Each show's got like 20 fucking
I
chicks.
think this is a test run in NXT. They're gonna do a mid card women's title to test the waters, see if it gets over, see how people respond to it, and then eventually, yes, I will think they'll bring one up to the main roster. I don't think they're gonna have two. I think they'll
Why
be
would they not have two? You got two shows running.
because that's we are talking fucking 15
Yeah, but
championships.
yeah, but you got to. They're completely different brands. You can't have just an you can't the mid if you just have one, the mid card title is going to look more important than the world titles.
That's true. That's
You
true.
can't do
I just
that.
was
You
looking,
can't.
I'm like, man, you can't have that'd be 5 championships on each show.
Yeah,
That's a lot, man.
it's a lot, but it's
Do they
needed
get
when
rid of
you're
the
raw.
women's tag team titles before?
Why?
Because they don't have no tag teams.
They got they got four on Raw and
That's
like
the thing I'm thinking. Because you got the women's tag team titles. If you have that and a women's mid card title, it's like you already don't have enough women's tag teams. Then you're going to dilute it with having a mid card title as well. I just don't know if that might be too much. I know they have a lot of women, but
there's I'm telling you, Rand, there's like almost there's like 40 women on the main roster.
yeah, that's a lot.
It is a lot. And they don't all have stuff to do.
Yeah,
Liv Morgan, Liv Morgan is not, I'm sorry, she is not world champion. But she could win a fucking women's intercontinental title.
she's probably going to
I
be the women's world champion. I'm just going to say.
I know. I just don't see it. Anyway, all right. We also had Wyatt sick or why Howdy
Whatever.
teasing something
Some
going on.
more. Yeah, we had more teases.
So we'll see what happens with that. We're not going to go too in depth on it here because we don't really know.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully they do Bray Wyatt proud if they do this.
You're we'll get to AEW in just a second. One more thing though, yeah, with this with Bray Wyatt. You're testing it because you're doing his legacy, and it's like if you don't do it well, this could they're gonna turn on you.
Yeah.
And so they've got to really tread lightly here and make sure they do it.
Like you got to make sure Bray Wyatt's involved somehow.
Yeah, you've
Like
got to
his
do it some way to make him
yeah,
proud and have him involved, like either something. So I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see where this is headed. I don't even know when it's going to happen or where it's going to. So we'll see.